I want them to be ready to face unpredictable events, which COVID has taught us. Language is all about listening and speaking, and that's where we are losing that touch.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Seema Choria, and I welcome you all to another insightful episode of Great Principles. Today, we bring to you another iconic figure from the world of Indian academia, Ms. Geeta Verma, Principal GD Goenka Signature School, Gurgaon. I start my conversation with a question today, ma'am. Can a teacher be a guide? The answer is big yes. Popular teacher becomes the ultimate role model for their students. They are their ideals. It is at this point in a student's life that a teacher takes on the role of a friend first, then that of a guide, and lastly, that of a philosopher. The teacher has the power to stir a wayward youth away from danger and the power to guide a youth to achieve his goals. Teachers always instruct, inspire, encourage, and guide their students in every possible manner. To amplify this thought, I quote Anatole France, a French poet: ninth, tenth of education is encouragement. On this wonderful thought, let us all start a conversation with Ms. Geeta Verma. Welcome to Great Principles, ma'am, once again. It's an honor to have you here.
Pleasure is entirely mine. Thank you so much. And a warm welcome to everybody who's watching this show.
It would be our privilege to hear your insightful journey, and let us begin by knowing where it all started. We all have our once upon a time, a story behind the choice of our vocation. So, ma'am, what was your once upon a time in your story as an educator?
The most important thing about once upon a time is clearly my age. I'm quite old and I've been in this field since 1990. Some of the parents who are listening now wouldn't have even been born. But yes, since I was a child, I was always interested in teaching. I and my sister who's 2 years older than me, we always had this wonderful game we used to play in the afternoon, teacher, teacher. And I think it started from there. And I was a bright student, and people were aghast, which is a very sad, state of affairs when I told them that I want to do my B.Ed and be a teacher. And I've been steadfast in my vocation, and it's that love and passion that I bring. So for me, no day is a work day. I do not consider this as work or stress. Rather, I look forward to coming to work. And I think the biggest breath of joy is, of course, working with children. They ensure that you stay forever young. They ensure that every day is dynamic and different. And now, in a leadership position, it's also my teachers who are now like my students. Now they're like my team. I used to mentor students earlier. Now I mentor my team and my teachers. So it's been a wonderful, fantastic journey teaching, both the national curriculum and of course the IB and the Cambridge as well. And I predominantly taught English literature, language, and theory of knowledge. And I think from 2015, I moved into a leadership position. I did do a little bit of teaching now and then. I don't like to lose touch with that. And how I keep up with my love of teaching is during professional development work days, I do a lot of interactive workshops with my team. So that particular passion and vocation is still flying high, and it's at the foremost of what makes me want to come out of bed and go to work. Mentor children, teach children, and make a difference day by day.
Wonderful, ma'am. So your journey is like an inspiration for others. If you treat your work as a passion, it's no more a work. So, just follow your passion. And what more when you're surrounded by so many young minds, which always keeps you young and full of energy. Automatically you get that boost for the day when these kids are smiling and they encourage you to, they push you more and more. So
Very true.
wonderful, great journey to know about. Going ahead, ma'am, with almost, you told me like from 1990, so it's like almost 3 decades, more than 3 decades as an educator. So you have started a new journey recently with the GD Goenka Signature School. So I would like to know from you, how are you planning to prioritize academic and administration role as a new school head?
So the school is around 5 years old, and it's a residential school. So that's a new experience as a head. Though I have worked and stayed a residential school, Pathways World School, Aravali, for 8 years. So I do have that experience. There are two-pronged things happening here. One is, of course, onboarding to a new school, a well-established school, and a residential school. The bigger marker of difference for which one has to really start from scratch, it's like pressing the reset button, is that we're coming back to school after a year and a half of total chaos and unpredictability due to COVID. I'm sure a lot of my fellow principals and heads of schools will understand what I'm talking about, because it's not simply starting anew. It's starting anew on something which was beautiful and there, but it's totally crumbled. So one of the challenges is, of course, for me to get the infrastructure going and getting all systems and procedures in place. So one is working closely with the administration team. The second is really revisiting the curriculum, because I am a firm believer of the WHO 10 listed life skills. In my previous school, Pragyanam, also, I created a curriculum for life skills. So what I'm trying to inspire my teacher and my team to do is to treat the CBSE curriculum as a wonderful vehicle to deliver the content. But it is in the pedagogy that is where when I'm planning to make a difference, because I want my teachers to go into the classroom and teach with a very clear intention that yes, content is good. I want to make sure my children get the good grades, that they get into good colleges, but it's also about preparing them for life. I want them to be ready to face unpredictable events, which COVID has taught us. I want them to be resilient, strong, imaginative, balanced adults. So my challenge for curriculum is that. Otherwise, what CBSE gives us, what the NCERT books do is fantastic, fabulous. The infrastructure is fine and set. It's in the pedagogy and the intention when the teacher enters into the classroom is where I want to make a difference and plan to make a difference. And last but not the least, Seema, I definitely want to take away our children taking so many pen and paper tests, especially till grade 9. I do want the assessment to be a little more experiential and a little more hands-on. And in the junior and middle school, one can do that. So I'm planning to completely reset the assessment system and make it more project-based, and definitely have a written test, but the weighting would not be 100%. It would be a small part of it. Just want to bring back the joy of learning, especially in the younger grades.
So true, ma'am. And these days, CBSE has already taken a major step by designing completely MCQs pattern till 8th standard, I suppose. And even this year, 10th is having MCQs pattern.
Both 10th and 12th.
Yeah.
So the first term exam, which is happening now in November and beginning December, is going to be the MCQ pattern. And the truth of the whole exercise is that if you look at all kinds of exams, even the SATs or the ACTs, all competitive exams, most important and most common is the MCQ kind of questionnaire. And though it looks deceptively easy, let me tell you, it's one of the toughest exam types to take, because there's a lot of elimination required. There is a time constraint, and yet the child has to clearly know the application of any concept to be able to choose the correct answer. So yeah, we need to train our children in that.
Absolutely. But ma'am, this thing, though there will be little hard work, but this is how, they will go away from the rote learning methods. When they will read the chapter in depth, they will understand the concept, and then they will be able to apply it also. So, I think this is a wonderful step taken. And yes, ma'am, I really love the point where you said content, curriculum, everything is in the place. But what about the life skills? Ultimately, it's the goal of education to not only train our children in academics, we have to prepare them for the life further. So what a beautiful thought you have in mind. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Seema. Thank you.
So I think this is every school head needs to practice this, and if this is
I'm sure there are lots of these wonderful gems there, because all the pedagogical leaders and school leaders that I have met, I have a very clear understanding that it is, what we need to do with the children is to make them life-ready adults.
So true, and these 2 years have taught us a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So going ahead in the conversation, ma'am, you are a well-read and have been on a learning curve path for all these years. Those are the achievements that empower one as a professional to progress. Why is it important for professionals to regularly upskill, unlearn, learn, and relearn?
I think that's the need of the hour. And frankly speaking, people like they say, change is the only constant. And if one becomes stagnant, and let me take the metaphor of a pool, if it's absolutely stagnant, then we see, a slime get over, come over it, and it starts smelling, and it, or, a lot of larvae and fungi and whatever comes on it, and it really just remains that pond which is stuck. But if it's a free flowing stream, if it's a free flowing river, then its bank sort of dips and ebbs, the tides dip and ebb, and all of that make the river's journey every day a different journey. Different ship come on it, different people use it. So likewise, even with as a leader, the day you say, I know everything, and you become complacent and you stop growing, I think is the death knell of you as an educator. Because at the heart of everything, all of us, whether we are in a formal school system or outside, we are a big teacher. Who knew teachers would upscale themselves so quickly? Who knew they would quickly get onto the digital tools? And one little silver lining to this 1.5 year of disaster as far as education goes is now we have more tools available. Teachers are not petrified and scared of the digital world, and they don't always think that is the chalk and the talk and the physical learning that matters. So they really reinvented themselves. And as leaders, we've had to support them. And as leaders, we also, not having that physical space of a school, not being able to go to classrooms, not being able to, get together with your team. That's also been a big, learning curve for us. So we have to constantly update ourselves because, like I said, we are living in an unpredictable world. This Black Swan event has taught us that we cannot predict the future. So what are we really preparing ourselves for? हम ये चाहते हैं कि कल का जो भी कुछ भी हमारे सामने आए उसका हमारे पास समाधान हो या उसको सहन करने की हमारे पास शक्ति हो। तो वो शक्ति कैसे आएगी? वो शक्ति इस चीज से बैठ के नहीं आ सकती कि मेरे को आप आज की तारीख में मैं अपने प्रिंसिपल बन गई, मुझे सब कुछ आता है। जहां पे आपने ये कहा वहीं पे रोक हो जाएगी। आपको हमेशा अपनी जिज्ञासा बिल्कुल जागरूक करके रखनी है कि और क्या है नया दुनिया में और क्या है इस संसार में जो मैं सीख सकती हूँ। तो वो सीखना हमेशा चलता रहना चाहिए और उससे आपके जो शिक्षक हैं और जो बच्चे हैं वो भी प्रभावित होंगे। उन पे भी एक बहुत अच्छा प्रभाव पड़ेगा कि हमारे प्रिंसिपल ऐसे कह रही हैं कि आप ये क्यों नहीं सीखते, अब वो ये देखिए एक नई चीज, तो वो उनके लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ा प्रेरणा का स्रोत है। तो ये तो होना बहुत जरूरी है। सीखना तो रोज की मतलब रोज की तारीख का सबसे नंबर 1 काम है, ये वो नहीं छोड़ना है।
एब्सोल्युटली मैम, आपने एकदम सही बात कही है। बिकॉज ये 2 सालों में जिनको मल्टी स्किल मतलब जिनके अंदर अलग अलग टैलेंट्स नहीं थे, जो उनके लिए डिफिकल्ट हो गया था, सैलरीज बंद थी, दे वर प्री कट, सो जिनके पास दूसरे स्किल्स थे जो और वो कुछ कर पाए, सर्वाइव कर पाए। अदर्स देयर वाज वेरी टेरिबल सिचुएशन आउट देयर, देयर वर मेनी दोज हु वर लाइक जॉबलेस, नो सेविंग्स। सो ये बहुत जरूरी है हमारे पेरेंट्स को भी समझना कि आज जो बच्चे ने सीखा है वो जरूरी नहीं है कि 10 साल बाद एप्लीकेबल होने वाला है, उसको कंटिन्यू सीखते रहना पड़ेगा। और साथ में पेरेंट्स को भी ये एजुकेशन बहुत जरूरी है कि लाइफ चेंज होती है, नए नए करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज आ रहे हैं। सो पेरेंट्स को भी रीलर्न करने की जरूरत है, जितना टीचर्स को है उतना ही स्टूडेंट्स और पेरेंट्स के लिए भी ये इम्पोर्टेंट है।
बिल्कुल ठीक है। मुझे ना बच्चों को समझाने में बहुत कम टाइम लगता है, पेरेंट्स को समझाने में ज्यादा टाइम लगता है। क्योंकि आप खुद ही देखिए आज की तारीख में अगर हमारे पेरेंट्स कहते हैं मेरे बच्चे को ना डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है या कुछ, या कई बार मेरे पेरेंट आके कहते हैं मैम ये ना कर्सिव राइटिंग नहीं कर रहा है, तो मैं उनसे पूछती हूँ क्या जरूरत होगी 10 साल के बाद? अरे यहाँ तो मैं हूँ, कोई लंबा लेटर नहीं लिखा, अब तो सब कुछ टाइपिंग उसमें। हाँ बेसिक राइटिंग आनी चाहिए पर सुंदर सी राइटिंग लिखो, ये आज की तारीख में रेलेवेंट नहीं है। उसे ज्यादा जरूरी ये सिखाना कि जब आप रिसर्च कर रहे हो तो वेबसाइट कौन सी देखनी है, ऑथेंटिक इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है, फेक न्यूज क्या है, रिसर्च कैसे करते हैं, हाउ डू यू सिफ्ट थ्रू द वीट फ्रॉम द शैफ, हाउ डू यू नो हाउ टू navigate these millions of information highways that are available to your children. So I think more important is it has to run parallelly. बच्चे तो फिर भी open minded और curious होते हैं। I think we need to work very closely with the parents generation, that they need to be a little more open minded and think beyond math and science and engineering and medicine. It's a struggle, it's an uphill task, but I the last 3-4 years do see a positive trend. I do see a change where parents say मैम हमें grades का इतना नहीं फर्क पड़ता, but ये जरूर है कि बच्चे को एंजॉय करना चाहिए उसको, जो हम सिखा रहे हैं उसको उसमें रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल्स दिखने चाहिए और कनेक्शंस होने चाहिए, तभी उसके लिए इट विल मेक अ सेंस. Math cannot be this pure abstract science. The child has to see math in nature or outside. Then the learning is long lasting. So there is a brave group of parents who have started supporting us in this, and I'm really very thankful to them for this.
Certainly. So all our parents are doing wonderful job, and I'm sure everyone is aware. Like just ma'am was like just telling us about the handwriting. Now it's the era of speech to text. So there are many
Yeah.
more things we need to make our children. More of logical reasoning they should have. They should be more of thinkers. Cognitive
Exactly.
skills need to be built. So my dear parents, as everyone has already taken a step, let's take a vow today that yes, we all will help our children to be groomed in the manner they want to, and we'll be a support, a huge support for them, not someone who is pressurizing our own dreams on them.
Very true.
So on this wonderful, fantastic note, we reach to the very interesting segment of the show. Before that, we will just talk about some inspiration first, because we all are inspired from legends from various walk of life. We look up to someone who inspires us constantly. So here, ma'am, I would like to know from you, who is your inspiration, your role model, who helps you in your all the times, be it tough time or happy times.
There are a series of people, Seema, and it'll be a real cliche if I say it was my mother and my father, but that's true. But there's one person that I want to, certainly, at this point acknowledge, which is Mahatma Gandhi. I don't believe in his political philosophy. I'm talking about him being the person who led a very simple life. He taught that concept of, what do you say, अपना काम खुद अपने हाथों से करो, सेवा भाव सेवा धर्म, स्व काम करो. And I like what he also said, that be the change you want to see. And another thing he wrote in his book, which really impacted me, was in his book by Mike. Everybody knows it, but teachers often think कि जब class में गए और अपना class दिया, होगी मेरी role modeling. But the truth is, children are watching you all the time. Your own children, your biological children at home as parents, they're watching you all the time, and they pick up on signals and things जो आपको लगता है वो notice भी नहीं कर रहे. So if you want your children to have integrity, आपको display करनी पड़ेगी पूरे time. If you want your children to be truthful, आपको पूरे time करेंगे. गांधी जी ने ये कहा था. So I'm very inspired with these 2-3 things. And another thing that I believe कि कोई काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता. Like we follow a very, sometimes a very colonial kind of a hierarchical organizational structure, kind of a, formula where principal is like, the God. And let me tell you, principal is a human being. उनको खड़े होकर अपना काम करने दो, उनको सब कुछ अपने आप करने दो. In my life, whom I've met, who have not felt that kind of, arrogance or pride or vanity which comes with earning big money and, living really. I've seen them do the simplest of tasks. So that is very inspirational. The more the willow grows, the more it branches bow. I really believe in that. The more a tree grows, उसके पेड़ होते हैं, उसमें fruit होते हैं, वो और झुकता है. तो आई थिंक वो मेरे लिए एक बहुत इंस्पिरेशनल चीज है जो मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स से सीखा, और कुछ हद तक जो महात्मा गांधी जी की फिलॉसफी थी, नॉट सो मच हिज पॉलिटिकल व्यूज बट मोर ऑफ हिज फिलॉसफी अबाउट बीइंग अ रोल मॉडल एंड व्हाट इज एन आइडियल टीचर, व्हिच ही रोट इन दैट बुक. सो दिस हैज बीन अ फ्यू ऑफ माय inspirational aspects of my life, and I try and live with them on a daily basis. It's a struggle, but it's very inspiring.
So true, ma'am. There are few things which are not easy to follow, but if you follow them, you start, finding the bliss in your own life. So as ma'am rightly said, we all need to be role model, whether a teacher or a parent. We all need to set an example, because children are more observers. They, just imbibe what you're doing. You cannot imbibe a lot of things. You cannot just teach them a lot of things, but you can imbibe in them. So that is where the entire magic lies. You do what you want your children to do, and you will see the difference there.
Very true.
So this makes me reach the very interesting segment of the show, which is called rapid fire round. Ma'am, you have to answer in one word or maximum a sentence. Right? So Gareth, my viewers, now you will know some fun facts about ma'am. So here goes the first question. You spend your recreational time indulging in activities like?
Reading, 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 reading. I'm a voracious reader.
Wonderful. So we have a voracious reader with us. Your favorite writer or personality?
Well, I'm into biographies. So a whole range of people. I just recently read Michelle Obama's Becoming. So at that moment, she's my favorite. I also like Jonathan Franzen.
All right. Next question. Your dream holiday destination is?
I've lived my dream, but yes, right now, the only continent I've not touched is Australia. So I want to do a driving holiday on the east coast of Australia and just really take each day as slow as it can come. Maybe spend a month or two on the east coast.
Hopefully, your dream comes true very soon. Going to the next question. The quote you go by?
Be the change you want to see. And second is Carpe Diem, which is seize the day.
Wonderful.
Be the change you want to see and seize the day.
Both have amazing, in-depth meaning. We all keep complaining, change hona chahiye, change hona chahiye. What you are doing for the change, stop complaining and start acting, be
exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Your favorite attire at work is?
Anything that is comfortable. Seema, I'm too old to really have these, fashion choices. So anything that is comfortable, whether it's Western or it's with semi, formal as far as Eastern goes. Yeah, but there's nothing as graceful as a sari.
Certainly, sari is most beautiful attire for a woman. Totally agree with that. So this was the rapid fire round. Now we reach to the last question of the show, which is called viewer's choice question. And ma'am, you being, an English teacher, and we saw that how fantastic is your Hindi too. There is some cause of concern. Now everything is becoming abbreviated, especially the social media. It is like full of that. All right. So it's like, BRB, that is be right back, TTYL, I'll talk to you later. And at times you need to Google such abbreviation which our generation is using. And that is a real cause of concern. How much damage will happen to their communications, communication language? I don't know about it. So what do you think? What is the impact of social media on speech in the real world?
People are getting more and more isolated and they're completely buried in their phones. COVID did another number where they sanctioned that, social isolation. So you got all the validation to and the validation to do that. But I find that people are not exploring or curious or even getting bored. People have stopped getting bored because they're always in their phone. And that feeling of being bored or thinking about something or, looking at something, discovering something, certainly it's impacting our vocabulary. The dialogue is always internal or you're constantly being fed stuff. So you're just a passive receiver. So yes, speech is getting impacted. What schools and principals can do to sort of, subvert this growing phenomenon is, and which is what I'm planning to do right now, is actually reignite debating clubs, reignite essay writing competition. It sounds very old school, but when children can present their arguments cogently or write them down cogently and make this club an aspirational club to join in, because it'll help your career also, I think we can, sort of subvert it to a certain degree. But yes, I would request parents, family people, everybody to talk more rather than be buried in your phone more. Language is all about listening and speaking, and that's where we are losing that touch. So that's why language is probably dying. Just speak more to your children, speak more to each other, away your cell phones for a few hours and days. Let me tell you, you'll enjoy it. That's my advice.
I just, when you were telling about talk to your children more, I recalled every family these days have a WhatsApp group wherein, even the child will tell, Mama, I'm going to have this in food. Every simple chat is there on the WhatsApp, and with the smileys, no communication is even there. Even their children are not ready to write, neither the parents. So I think this is every parents or every family should have a session wherein there are no gadgets and we're just talking to each other, hearing us. At times we crave that someone should just hear us out. And that is somewhere missing in today's social media age, I suppose. And
yeah, very true.
Also, harming our kids. They are not opening up. They're not sharing their thoughts to us. So even, ma'am, you rightly said that schools can take up a step by holding such competitions like debates and essay writings. And when a child can express themselves, there cannot be better, presentation of their thoughts.
Express themselves and guide them how to express themselves.
True.
They need those tools as well, which we are losing. So we want to equip them with the tools.
Certainly, ma'am. So, ma'am, I really, really enjoyed talking to you today. Amazing philosophies you have of making learning fun and more meaningful. And it was really amazing to talk to you. And it was an insightful experience for me. And I'm sure my viewers are going to enjoy this. We at Great Principles are extremely privileged to have an opportunity to talk to you and hear your wise words. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this and putting forth and sharing my philosophy. It's been great. It's been an honor and absolutely my pleasure. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was great interacting with you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.